There has been so much information coming out about the newest WWE 2K game in the past week. In this video, I want to share 50 facts you need to know so far about this year's game. So, without further ado, let's begin. One of the most noticeable areas that WWE 2K22 hits different is its presentation and the graphics. Although they might not be as impressive as some of the other titles out there, the graphics this year certainly set a high bar for any wrestling game to follow. Some of the new things added include a new particle system, which can be seen quite clearly here in Goldberg's entrance. You might have noticed the fact that the superstars look a lot better, especially in comparison to the last game. This is due to the fact that the 2K dev team have rescanned almost all of the superstars, including legends, to give them a much needed lift, and the difference clearly shows with some of the best looking models to date. We have also seen many superstars with more than one attire in the screenshots and videos, which means this year some members of the roster will have more than one attire available. Reportedly, the titles seem to have been drastically improved this year as well, and they look just as they should. 2K also claims to have changed up the camera angles and the camera cuts of the game. Since there isn't enough legit gameplay out there yet, it is hard to say how this change looks exactly, but during the entrances, a small camera shake is noticeable, and when a match is going on, the camera seems to be much more up close and personal. Speaking of the in-ring action, it is very important to talk about the fundamental gameplay which has been changed in 2K22. You can now block your opponent's attacks. You can also dodge their attacks. And finally, the limit on reversals have been removed. The control scheme has once again been redone. The pinning system has been changed and it will once again consist of button mashing. However, it isn't clear if this will be the only option. Perhaps this system could harken back to the one we saw when SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, where the system consisted of button mashing and timing at the same, you guessed it, time. There are now combos that you can execute. Again, there isn't enough info on how this works exactly, but one positive that comes from this is apparently the AI will go for these combos as well. Which means when you play against the AI or simulate AI versus AI matches, you are more likely to get better outcomes. All of these changes made to the core gameplay will definitely shake things up. To be better prepared, 2K22 will have a 20-minute tutorial that, from what Vibe, a popular wrestling YouTube channel, the members of which got to play the game early, say, those lucky bastards by the way. Anyways, according to them, it is necessary to go through this tutorial to really get the hang of the game. This year's showcase mode focuses on the legendary Rey Mysterio. Much like what we have seen in the past, the mode will give a nice overview of the luchador's career, starting from before the 2000 to our current day. Some matches such as the 2006 Royal Rumble and a World Heavyweight Championship match against The Undertaker in 2010 have already been confirmed. One of the first unlockable characters confirmed, which is most likely related to this mode, is Dominic Mysterio. You will also be able to unlock legends such as the Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man Randy Savage, Kevin Nash, and Scott Hall. The NWO for Life edition will grant you access to the 4 members of the NWO: Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, Syxx, and Scott Hall. But you will be able to unlock them regardless without getting this edition of the game. The only difference buying the NWO edition makes is that you also get access to the same 4 wrestlers in their NWO attire. And also you get a playable Eric Bischoff with this edition, which means that Eric is finally a playable character after almost 19 years. Before diving into the other modes, let's talk about some of the other superstars you can play as. Thanks to the diligent work of the folks over at the SmackDown Hotel, many superstars have already been confirmed for the game. Austin Theory, Dominic Mysterio, Kaylee Ray, Raquel Gonzalez, Shotzi Blackheart are just some of the superstars that will be making their debut in this year's WWE 2K game. And although not confirmed, wrestlers such as Kushida, Karrion Kross, Gunther, formerly known as Walter of course, and perhaps even Ilya Dragunov are very likely to make their debut this year as well. 2K plans to release 5 DLCs for the game, and one of these DLCs is very likely to be a pack containing future superstars. This makes it very likely that someone like Bron Breakker will also end up in this year's game. Some of these last facts come down to speculations. Yet, one thing that is clear is that if you pre-order the game from any platform, you will get access to 3 different versions of The Undertaker, as you can see here. Some of the overalls of the confirmed roster members have already been announced. As an example, We got NWO Hulk Hogan, which is 92 overall. We got Kevin Nash, which is at 90. Scott Hall is the same. And some of the other overalls that have been announced include Bianca Belair, which is 86. The Rated R Superstar Edge and Rey Mysterio, which both sit at 90. And then we have Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, which both sit at 91. The most requested mode of the franchise for now, what feels like decades, is at last in the game. I'm talking about, of course, MyGM mode. You can select 4 different managers to start your journey, which can range from 15 to 50 weeks. The managers are Stephanie McMahon, Sonya Deville, Shane McMahon, and Adam Pearce. They each have their own unique abilities that will give them the edge in a certain aspect of the mode. And I know I'm in the middle of talking about MyGM, but I gotta tell you, they finally fixed Edge. Thank God. Now, where were we? Oh, right. You will need to complete weekly objectives given to you by your boss Triple H, while also competing with a rival brand with the aim of being the best brand out there. You can manage SmackDown, Raw, NXT, NXT UK, but no matter which brand you start with, you will start in a smaller and a much more humbling arena, which looks to be a high school gym. You can, of course, draft a roster to your heart's content, or you can let the game handle that part for you, if you just want to get straight into it. For now, it seems that you can only book 3 matches and 2 segments per show, which is quite strange. You can play, spectate, or skip these matches and segments. If you decide to spectate a match, you're able to have control over the camera angles and how you view the match. Basically, this is the Kevin Dunn mode. You can also act as an evil general manager and interfere in matches to try and get your desired outcome using the aforementioned spectate mode. The ability to do this in exhibition matches is not yet confirmed and seems unlikely, which is definitely a pro moment. Moving on, my career has been renamed to My Rise this year, and it features 2 completely different storylines, one for a male and one for a female superstar. And one of the developers have said that this mode would take around 50 hours to complete. In My Rise, you can choose your superstar's background, which will affect the way you experience the mode. For example, certain dialogue options and the reaction you get from social media will be tailored to your chosen background. If you wanted your character to be a movie star or an athlete coming from a different sport before stepping into the wrestling business, well, you can make that happen. You could also choose to be an indie wrestler, and much more. 2K have also indicated that your decisions in the My Rise mode will carry much more weight in comparison to the older games of the series, such as 2K19 and 20. All the information that is currently available points to this mode being quite similar to the season mode of the likes of Here Comes the Pain and Shut Your Mouth. This idea is backed up even more, as in My Rise, you don't kickstart your career on Raw, SmackDown, or NXT, but instead go through an evaluation process, after which you are able to choose which branch you want to go to. You can skip NXT and head directly out to the main roster. But if you happen to be dissatisfied with your position in your brand, you have the chance to request for a brand transfer, again, much like how you could in the older games. Universe mode has seen a small update this year. Although there seems to be no major changes in how you run the entire universe, a new way to play has been added in the mode that lets you focus on a single superstar. It is called the Superstar mode, and in this mode you choose only one superstar to play, for example like AJ Styles, and you only experience his matches, his segments, his cutscenes, etc. Anything else that takes place in the universe mode isn't really your concern when you choose to play it in this way. There is a brand new mode called MyFACTION, which finally introduces microtransactions into the WWE 2K series. This has been something in the works ever since around 2K19, and 2K has finally decided to pull the trigger on it this year. The mode works very similar to its counterparts in NBA 2K, such as NBA My Team. You will collect cards, create a faction with those cards, and make them the most dominant force in the WWE by making them stronger and stronger. Definitely not my cup of tea, and if you look at what these types of modes have done to NBA, FIFA, or the NFL games, you will know exactly why. The creation suite has been a little more streamlined this year. This means that players who were afraid of getting their hands dirty with the very detailed creation suite of the 2K series can now create a superstar from scratch much more easily. There are preset body types and character types, as you can see on the screen, which will get you a satisfactory result much quicker without spending a big amount of time in the mode. For those of you looking for a deeper experience, you needn't worry because it is possible to do everything like how you were able to in the older games. One interesting fact to note here is that some features like body morphing have been removed from the game. This may upset some of you watching right now, but your boy Lionel Jinx has stated that this was done in an effort to make the creations much more in line with the actual superstars handcrafted by the WWE 2K devs, and for avoiding glitches such as clothing clipping into each other. You may have noticed also that all the superstars have renders this year instead of their in-game models in all the menu screens. I think this is a better, much cleaner look. In the past, however, this was a big issue as any created superstar would stand out quite jarringly from the official ones. Well, say goodbye to that ever happening again, because now you can upload custom renders for any of your created superstars, thus making them look as good as the official ones in the menus. Moving from the creation suite to the community creations, the biggest feature to mention here is the long overdue but very welcome inclusion of cross-platform community creations. This means if you're on PC, you can download everything that was uploaded to the PS4, Xbox One, or PS5 community creations. This of course works the other way around as well. And speaking of PC, WWE 2K22 on PC will be the same as WWE 2K22 on the PS4 and Xbox One. In other words, the current gen. Same trend can be seen in the NBA 2K series. It looks like this will be another bad year for PC players where they will get a very shoddy port which very well might not work at all. So that's fun. Yay. Still, I believe the difference in the current gen and the next gen versions of the game will be nothing but graphical. Fingers crossed for that. Yet, it is still a good idea to be cautious about this because the NBA 2K series apparently have many more features in the next gen version compared to the current gen. Whew, finally! That was 50 facts that you needed to know about 2K22. If you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate it if you hit the like button. It would genuinely help me out a lot. And to finish things off, I want to ask you a question. What do you think about this year's game? Do you think it will actually hit different? Be sure to let me know in the comment section. Right, whew, I'm tired now, so I guess I'll see you on the next one.